We're live. It's December 27th. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I gotta get back. I'm right now in the process of uploading like the past 2 weeks episodes onto Spotify because we've been getting like 20. We've been like increased by 20 listeners on average.
We've increased by 20 or we've increased to 20?
We've increased to 20 listens per episode. So both, basically both.
I'm glad, because I was going to bring that up a couple of days ago because that's like I've switched when I go to the gym. Now I like to listen to my favorite podcasts as opposed to like books or music. So I always get pissed off when like my go-tos haven't uploaded it for the day. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'm trying to get it all backlogged and get better to uploading as soon as the episodes ends. I was so good during the summer, but during the school year, I would just be like, oh, every Friday I would just upload the week's worth.
That's why we need some geek to like just do that right away, get it on streaming platforms, get the edits out as we're talking, like, the big TV chains.
I have a friend who's like down to do it if we pay him. I just need to see like he's about to graduate and he's one of my good buddies. Like I believe in him. I just need to like run by him like, yo, you need to do this and that. And like,
yeah, they kind of need some training.
Yeah. And besides that, like he kind of knows sports, like he knows basketball, but like he's not like, but he's into content creation. That's the good thing. You get what I'm saying?
It's not too hard to figure out once you get it.
Yeah. So, and I think we get it. Either way, let's hop in today. Today we'll be talking about Rudy Gobert sucks. Like the guy got outplayed by a two-way player. And the G League Ignite team, a lot of scouts and NBA executives are wondering what's the purpose.
Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. What is the purpose?
Because why not just go play overseas or make NIL in college?
That's yes.
So yes. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about, I'd say it's a five-head. There's two clear front runners in the MVP race right now. It's Nikola Jokic versus Jason Tatum. Then
Jalen Green.
The dark horse is Kevin Durant, and then Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tyrese Halliburton and Joel Embiid are right behind that. Then we'll talk about teams that I think are rising in the standings that we like. And then we'll figure out what the fuck the rest to do with this show today. It's been a little bit beat around the NBA ever since Christmas. I will have to say that. Everything's been a little bit mellow.
Yeah, I mean, there weren't too many games on yesterday. What's up, fourth Q? Tonight, I was surprised to see how many games are on the slate.
Yeah, no, it didn't make sense. So let's hop into the first topic of discussion, and that is Rudy Gobert. Is he the shadow of the player that he once was? Was he a system guy? What is going on here? So I don't know if you want to hear. I'm a Timberwolves fan, so I can go on a rant. I just want to hear your thoughts before. No, you go first.
No. You go first.
Okay. I don't know. First off, it's the aggressiveness. It's Rudy Gobert. We thought Rudy Gobert was going to fix the two big problems of this team. We were getting a dominant All-NBA, former multi-defensive player of the year guy who was going to address the two biggest weaknesses of this team, defensive rebounding and rim protection. He was literally a defensive monster. It was a team that was going to be so big that it would be difficult for a small ball team to handle. Now, we always knew there was questions about Karl-Anthony Towns, but Chris Finch was the guy who was going to be able to do this. But the overall collection of talent in the starting lineup was basically swapped out for Rudy Gobert. And it's 34 games into the first season. This team, it's terrible. We just saw Orlando Robinson on a 2-week contract get literally dick on Rudy Gobert. It was insane. And he looks like the shadow of the guy that he once was in Utah. And maybe it's just he needs a bit more time. But last season, Gobert averaged 15.6 points, led the league with 14.7 rebounds, 2.1 blocks, and shot a league-leading 71.3% from the field to make his third straight All-Star appearance. Now, this season so far, they're literally so far down across the board, it's ridiculous. 14 points, 12.3 rebounds, 66.2% from the field, and the most stunning part of all, 1.2 blocks. He's not even averaging 2 blocks. That's literally the lowest he's had since he was a rookie. The guy isn't the same player anymore. And it was insane that we just saw, Nikola Jovic, and Caleb Martin, Max Strus eat Gobert alive when it should have been the other way around. And Orlando Robinson literally just imploded on him. I've always been a huge Orlando Robinson, but he hasn't. I don't know. There's no heart. It's depressing. I would trade Gobert for anything. I just want Gobert off this team. I want Karl-Anthony Towns off this team. I don't want any bigs on this team. I'm done with bigs. I want Naz Reid starting. I want Kyle Anderson. Fuck this. Fuck Gobert. Fuck Karl-Anthony Towns. That's how I feel about the Timberwolves right now.
Yeah, man, they haven't won. First off, Orlando Robinson is one of those guys where if you just watch like a summer league game, he's good.
He's good. Orlando Robinson's good.
Like you just notice him.
Orlando Robinson's a good player from Fresno State. I love, how I've been on him, but Orlando Robinson shouldn't, as a rookie, should not be eating Gobert alive. Yeah. Nor should Jovic, a 6'10" guard.
Not many people should be.
Yeah.
Let alone those guys.
Let alone those guys, yes.
I mean, Minnesota's pretty dysfunctional right now. I know I saw that they're going to try and put Cat more in the corner when he comes back and see if that works. But yeah, I mean, Rudy Gobert, I don't know quite what it is. It's been like the whole month. They've lost 6 straight games that he's played in, and Minnesota's kind of faltering right now a little bit. I remember like their last win against Dallas when Gobert was out. Naz Reid went for like 27 and 15. Like he was just a
We
stud.
look better without Gobert and without Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Naz Reid's a G. So is Kyle Anderson and Jaden McDaniels.
He reminds me very much of Precious Achiuwa in the sense that these guys are so underrated. Like these are starting caliber centers. Naz Reid's a starting caliber center. He's very versatile. He's had a couple of years in the league now. It's a really tough position because it's like, Gobert is going to be an issue in the playoffs because he always has been. He always will be. But there's a way around it. But especially if he's not rebounding the ball like it wasn't last night, if he's not giving me like 12 rebounds, that's what he's averaging on the season, though. So I think it's just a lot of dysfunctionality with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I don't know what.
Chris Finch is a good coach. Chris Finch is a good coach. I don't know what Tim Conley was expecting at this point. I get that Rudy Gobert was good, but maybe Rudy Gobert was only looking good because that's how good of a coach Quinn Snyder was. Okay, Quinn Snyder we always knew was a good coach, but maybe he was a lot better of a coach than we thought. And I just find it so frustrating that at this point we're ruining Anthony Edwards' like offensive production, like skill set, and he's becoming a phenomenal passer. But we've seen already by taking out Karl-Anthony Towns how much better Anthony Edwards looks. Like at this point, I don't even know. I don't care to keep either of them. And it'd be so hard to trade them. But God, I don't know what you do at this point. Does Gobert have some turnaround? I don't know. It's just so hard to see how you fix this. Just because I think Gobert just lost a full-on step. He's not the same guy anymore. Maybe him playing summer league is partial, not summer league, to play in the Eurobasket, and people forgot that he played the Eurobasket. I'm pretty sure, didn't they go to the championship or they won it or something like that? They went to the final, I believe.
I know France was in the final.
So
did they beat Spain?
No, Spain won it. I think Spain won. So, and literally at this point, I think maybe Rudy Gobert just got drained from Eurobasket and he's like just super fatigued. But at this point, yeah, Larry, hey Mai, I agree. Naz Reid, Nathan Knight have been doing way better than Rudy Gobert, and it's ridiculous to see how the turn of events. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and talk all the damn time about how you're losing precious time with Anthony Edwards on a rookie contract. It just, as the days go by, it's like less and less that he's either going to stick around or want to stick around or whatever it is. And I think what's becoming evidently clear to me, as much crap as I like to give Cat for being soft and not the number one option on a championship team, is, I mean, even without Cat, you don't have enough. And like that Gobert trade they lost all their resources. Like they lost so many critical players. Like Jared
So
Vanderbilt
many.
is such a critical
Malik
piece.
Beasley
Pat Bev was
shooting.
so huge. Malik Beasley was huge for him. Like they lost a lot. So now it almost becomes a little bit of like damage control where it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a horrible look if you have to get rid of either Gobert or Cat, but I think the alternative is much more dire. So yeah, I think a month from now, we're going to start seeing some rumblings about Minnesota being open to something.
Yeah, and like I don't even know because at this point, this team is a team that should have gone more athletic, more spacing, and getting more guys who could have played out in the perimeter and be able to go in transition and end up being this super athletic team. They shouldn't have been worrying about this rebounding. They should have tried to get like guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and like Josh Greens and stuff like that, guys. Or even like guys like how Benedict Mathurin is, Imagine if Walker Kessler was on this team. Walker Kessler would have helped you so much, okay? Walker Kessler would have been huge for this squad.
Yeah, maybe they should have maybe they had the wrong Jazz guy to get, and it should have been.
You're an idiot, dude. Walker
Mike
Kessler
Conley.
Oh, that's right. I was about to say Walker Kessler was drafted by them. And I don't even know. Maybe they shouldn't have even traded. Like Jared Vanderbilt was the second leading offensive rebounder in the league behind only Steven Adams as a power forward. You just lost all that offensive rebounding. How are you supposed to come back from that,
I guess their thought process is guys like Jalen Noel, who's done a great job, and
he's been awesome.
Taurean Prince and McDaniels can help alleviate what they lost. And they got Austin Rivers and Bryn Forbes, and they're like, these guys will it's kind of throwing a Band-Aid on a huge gaping cut. So yeah.
I don't even know how we fix this team anymore besides getting rid of not Anthony Edwards. Oh my God. Besides giving Anthony Edwards space. Anthony Edwards in space is the solution to this team. Get Rudy Gobert out of town. Get Karl-Anthony Towns out of town at this point. I don't see a way for this roster to work. Anthony Edwards, we've seen in every game that the big guys have been out and they play in space. What happens? Anthony Edwards looks better in space. It's all about Anthony Edwards in space. And I think we're seeing that this team's at its best when Anthony Edwards is in space. So that's kind of how I feel about this right now.
Yeah, they got to start getting some consistency, dude. This is crazy. Like, I go back to the start of their season. So they've lost 3 straight in the past 3. Before that, they won 3 straight. Before that, they lost 3, won 2, lost 3, won 5, lost 3, won, lost 3. Like, it's all in spurts. There is no consistency whatsoever with this current Minnesota Timberwolves team.
And yeah, and it's painful.
Kind of crazy.
It's painful to watch, and all you want is for them to have some sort of like coerce or like some sort of like make sense. And every time it makes sense, it's when Anthony Edwards is in space. And we've seen him go up to like 7 assists now. He's looking like a guy who could average 7 assists, 7 rebounds, and 25 points with like 2 steals a night. And he looks at his best when it's Naz Reid, Kyle Anderson, Jaden McDaniels out there when he has space. And that's what it gets me so pissed off. It's just at this point, how many times do you guys have to have Rudy Gobert miss games, or how many games does Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert have to miss games for you to see that your team's at its best when it's just Anthony Edwards on the floor without those guys?
Tough.
And it just pisses me off. No, let's pivot right here. And let's talk about the NBA G League Ignite.
Yay!
I know. It's interesting as all hell. But let's talk about this. And this is, how do we put it?
Oh, that's a dry tongue. What? Is that real?
What?
That looks like a green dry tongue.
I don't know, dude. He's mid-game. He's probably drinking hella.
Pretty purple, dude.
All right. So John Hollinger went to the G League Showcase, and this is what he had to talk about. This was something that everyone talked about was the G League Ignite. And something, if you guys don't know, unlike 28 of the other 29 teams, the Ignite are not affiliated with any NBA team. Mexico City Capitans is also unaffiliated. Portland and Phoenix are the only NBA teams without affiliated G League clubs. Instead, the Ignite are ran by the league and pay considerable salaries to several young players with the idea of developing them for the NBA. They pay like Scoot Henderson, I think it was like $1 million or $2 million, and then like the bottom roster guys 500,000. And then G League players make only 35,000 to like 80,000 a year. This year's roster has like Leonard Miller, Scoot Henderson, London Johnson, Mojave King, Sidi Sissoko, Babakar Singh, and Efi Abu Gidi. And this is the third year of the program. And so far, Dyson Daniels, Jaden Hardy, Marjan Beauchamp, Jalen Green, Dacian Nix, Isaiah Todd, and Jonathan Kaminga have made it to the NBA from this program. And from John Hollinger's talks to people around the league, both leading up to the event and at the G League showcase itself, he found a lot of people willing to question the league's approach. For starters, why is the league spending all this money to develop players who would just develop someplace else? What is the point of this exactly? There was some idea that keeping these players out of rival non-NCAA options like the Overtime Elite or the Australian National Basketball League Next Stars program, which RJ Hampton, Ousmane Dang, and LaMelo Ball played in, would help market them for the next level in the NBA. But if anyone's ever seen a G League game, it isn't exactly packed at all. Like those houses aren't packed. And now, when they first made the G League, this was when the G League Ignite wasn't competing against NIL in college basketball. But over the last 2 years, NIL in college sports has become a major factor. So will any of these options even be competitive going forward? And from a marketing perspective, there hasn't been anything except for that one game where the G League Ignite were a opponent for Victor Wembanyama's Metropolitan 92 team when they visited in October, and they went 1-1, and it was really just a hype machine for Victor Wembanyama. Given the expense, and some have questioned the league's roster choices as well. Paying up for Scoot Henderson was one thing, but most of the other players are barely fringe NBA prospects. One league source told John Hollinger that why are we paying almost $500,000 for guys who are two-way players? And secondly, there's a deeper question. Is this program even good at developing players?
No.
Maybe you give them a mulligan for the first year in the middle of a pandemic, but Ignite were objectively a mess last season, and they're barely any better this year. And nobody that John Hollinger has talked to thinks this is a team that is coached well or well ran. And he's frequently offered this opinion before even getting around to asking. Meanwhile, Jaden Hardy looks so much better on the Dallas Mavericks G League team than he did on the Ignite. Scouts are almost at a point of putting an asterisk next to Ignite player stats, presuming they'll be almost better anywhere else. Many also question the fact that they aren't even playing for anything that matters. Literally, we talk about this all the time. The problem with the G League and why the G League will never take off is nobody plays to win. No one gives a crap to win in the G League. No one cares about team play. Everyone out there is playing for themselves, playing to showcase themselves, and playing to put up the best numbers so they can get called up to the league or get a big contract overseas. Okay, none of the games matter. The G League games don't matter. The G League Ignite games matter even less because they know they're just trying to get drafted. And the fact is that when you play in the NCAA, when you play overseas, when you play in the NBL, all those games matter because you're trying to win a championship in a foreign league. Now, the Ignite left the showcase with the worst record and the worst scoring margin in the entire G League after doing the same thing last year. And Scoot Henderson, yes, he only played 6 games in this showcase, and they won 3 of those games, but they're 1-11 without him. And they also lost 1 game in the 2-game split against Wembanyama's Metropolitans 92. And Canadian forward Leonard Miller, who was a fringe first rounder, is a guy who has pushed himself into a guaranteed first rounder. But the thing is that you have to wonder, like, obviously LaMelo Ball didn't have some personal growth in Australia, but because he spent the year screwing around, jacking up 40-foot threes. But we have to say, you'd think Scoot Henderson, Leonard Miller, and all these guys, if they went to the NBL, went to, and Power 5 like Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, or even went over to Europe, it would be better than the G League. Instead, let's just say the program has reached a point where people are asking questions. Unlike the G League's other 29 franchises, this one has to continue providing to 30 NBA owners who are paying for it why it should keep existing. right now, the sales pitch is failing. Thoughts?
Yeah. So I mean, the NIL ruined G League. The Ignite. Any chance that Ignite had that never made sense to begin with, the NIL completely abolished it. So the Ignite team should be dismantled. Who are the good players out of the Ignite? I know it hasn't been a long.
Leonard Miller's who have made it or who are currently?
Who are current good players?
Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Green, and Dyson Daniels have arguably, and Marjan Beauchamp are the four best players.
And Jaden.
But no, like actually playing. Marjan Beauchamp, Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Green, and Dyson Daniels are the only ones who have made an impact in the NBA so far in the G League Ignite. The rest, Isaiah Todd, Dacian Nix, Jaden Hardy, they've been like not two-way guys, but like just basically they're like on guaranteed contracts, but they've been called up and down from the G League.
Yeah, so there's clear talent. Scoot Henderson's a great player. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. And as far as like the G League goes, I mean, you're going to have to there's going to have to be some type of incentives that work across the whole organization, just in general. Like those two teams you mentioned that don't have G League affiliates, they need to have G League affiliates. I don't understand why they don't, actually. If that's supposed to be the minor league system for the NBA, why don't they have teams? But the Ignite will never work. If Scoot Henderson, think Sharif O'Neal. Sharif O'Neal sucks right now. He sucks. This guy, like,
I forgot he was on.
Did he have a stint with the Lakers?
Yeah, why did they give Sharif O'Neal a?
Because they're desperate. And you know what? I'll tell you this. I don't know what Sharif was doing, because Sharif had a medical condition and he was forced to sit out for the season, or he was done for the season in his last year at UCLA, or however that went down. He should have gone back to college. I don't know what he's doing in the NIL now, in the Ignite. Now nobody knows what Sharif's doing. If he was at least still on UCLA, he'd get some eyeballs, because it's Shaq's kid and it's actually watchable. Scoot Henderson, I couldn't tell you any stat line Scoot Henderson has had in the entire season. I covered the Houston Rockets. I couldn't tell you a single stat line Jalen Green had in his stint with the Ignite. Like, nobody watches it. Nobody cares. And it's bad.
It's bad basketball.
It's just a mess, and it doesn't make any sense. And you could argue with the NIL not coming into effect, maybe, right? They're getting some money. All right, fine. I'm open to it.
Drew Timme, a guy who was basically early second round pick. He was going to go in the second round. He wasn't going to go in the first. Drew Timme of Gonzaga. He said the only reason he went back to Gonzaga for like that super senior season was I think he got $3 million. And he was like, I was going to get more money playing an extra year of college basketball than I would as a second round pick. Yeah. Like, why would you not go to college basketball now when you're getting like 1 to 3 million, maybe even 5? I bet you KU, Kansas, they're probably setting up my school at University of Kansas. We're probably setting up Jalen Wilson and like these new 5-star recruits we're talking to, Grady Dick and shit, with like $2-3 million deals. I bet you Duke, Kentucky doing the same thing, getting them big old deals. Like literally, Michigan State is called the Michigan State Trojans, presented by Rocket Mortgage. That's their basketball team. The Michigan State Trojans, presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the whole NIL, that's a whole nother kind of thing. Just in general, I think it's going to ruin college sports as far as.
No, it won't. It's going to keep good players there.
It will. But I would say
you're going to have the good guys do and go overseas.
Hey, is that swaggy? That's good. You got a dog, but. So, okay, I think Drew Timme was a great point. Drew Timme is living at Gonzaga as a freaking superstar stud. Now he has scouts on him. He's getting well coached.
Oh, no.
He's getting laid every day.
Drew Timme's not going to be a first-round pick. Drew Timme's still a second-round pick.
But he's the
his stock went down. His stock went down.
No one gives a shit about the guy on screen because he plays for the G League Ignite. People just know he's good.
Okay, you got me there. Right. You're right. Yes, playing college basketball is better marketing than the G League United. I bet you less people know about Victor Wembanyama than I'm trying to think who's the most popular college. Who's the most popular college basketball player right now?
Eddie.
No.
But Victor Wembanyama is a special type of talent, and they've done a great job marketing that. I think
you got 70K on a video.
It's actually at 80. But yeah.
About what?
The 49ers. But I don't know. I think the Ignite's a sorry excuse at this point, especially with the NIL
You chose
impact here.
Scoot
Scoot
over
Henderson.
Victor? You made a video
I
saying
don't know.
Scoot over Victor.
Maybe for the Rockets? Yeah, maybe for the Rockets. Oh, no, I think that was a clip we said on here. I'd rather have Scoot on the Rockets than Vic because I like LP. I think I said that yesterday, 2 days ago.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But like,
But this guy could be, if Scoot was at Duke, he'd be a superstar stud. Random people would be tuning on ESPN to watch him. Everybody's winning. Everybody's making money. Like,
I'm trying to think who's the number 1 player in college basketball right now.
Couldn't even tell you.
I couldn't even tell you. I go to
Couldn't even tell you.
Kansas. Is it Jalen Wilson, Grady Dick?
Don't know either of those players.
They're fucking
I
dogs.
thought Jalen Wilson was your quarterback.
No, that was Jalen Daniels. We like them Jalens. 2 different Jalens. One's with an E, one's with an O. You fucking asshole. But no, look, yes, Scoot Henderson. Oh my God, this guy would probably have 10 million followers on everything if he went to a Power 5 school. The thing is with this G League Ignite is it's not working. It's not marketing well, and the team is coached bad. The team is ran bad. And they don't do a good job. It's either they're not doing a good job at offering contracts to the right players, or the players that they want are all choosing to go to college instead of the G League Ignite because they're like, why?
Well, yeah. I think most athletes who are going to get a scholarship, like those good type of players, like would love to go to college as opposed to whatever the hell you do on the Ignite team. I guess you just enter adulthood. Why wouldn't I go slay some co-eds for a year and just be treated like a king and make some money and get the national attention and go back to the co-eds? There's co-eds. There's no co-eds on the Ignite team.
So let's switch over and let's talk about this.
I hate this site so fucking much.
They've really put Jason Tatum at 5. I think this race.
I hate this site so fucking much. Oh my God.
Do you want me to use NBA.com?
Why is this always the worst ever MVP ranking?
It's if the season ended today.
If the season ended today, why is Jason Tatum over 5? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, you want to use NBA.com? They have Giannis Antetokounmpo winning it.
I like it.
Fuck that. It's Nikola Jokic.
I like it.
I'm going back to what I like better.
Oh my God.
Alrighty. Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Tyrese Halliburton probably make up like the everybody's MVP list right now, with Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese being the dark horse. And I think Jokic, Doncic, Antetokounmpo, and Durant. Jokic is in front. Tatum is actually like in there too. Like I think it's between Tatum and Jokic right now. Then Durant's a close third. Then it's Doncic, and in 5th place it's fucking Giannis. Then 6th it's Joel.
I haven't heard a soul on the planet this whole year say Luka Doncic is the MVP.
Well, Luka's like
2 games above 500.
Yeah, but like he's basically leading like one of the most like the 7th or 9th most efficient offense in the NBA. I'll read it to you right here. Let's just read you some little information from John Hollinger. Okay, so right now you got Jason Tatum, who has been the best player on the league's best team, automatically bestowing MVP equity. And this is on the same level as you have to consider Devin Booker, because the Suns won 64 games 5 a year ago. Jason Tatum legitimately has a case for being the best player this time around as a two-way defensive and offensive menace, averaging 31 points per game on the best offense. And he, had his MVP moment, 41 points on 22 shots against Milwaukee. Then you got Kevin Durant, who spent the past month showing everybody how good he is. And he tore his Achilles like 3 years ago, averaging almost 30 points on 68% true shooting. And his defense has been like defensive player of the year quality. They've won 9 straight. And he's 34, and he's played 33 of Brooklyn's 34 games, and he's 3rd in the entire NBA for minutes played. Now, Luka Doncic is an offense on basically himself for a shorthanded Dallas team that is 9th in the NBA in offensive efficiency, despite having no shot creation besides Luka and Spencer Dinwiddie on the roster. On top of that, his ever-widening array of tricks, feints, and pivots in the basket area. Doncic has massively increased his free throw rate in his 5th pro season while shooting a scalding 58.1% inside the arc. He's 3rd in the league in player efficiency rating, 2nd in scoring, 2nd in BPM, despite the near constant attention from opposing defenses. Giannis, the Bucks superstar's fourth in scoring, leads the league in free throw attempts, and remains a monstrous presence for the fifth-ranked defense, despite a dip in his PER to just 28.1. And Embiid, okay, for December, he's averaging 35.9 points, 50% from three, 86.4% from the free throw line, and 65.8% true shooting, more assists than turnovers, and 8 straight wins. And he's also played every game since November 28. And that's what you got to say, a 5-way MVP race with Nikola Jokic out here, averaging 24.4 points, 11 rebounds, and 9.4 assists. His PER is 32.2, and he leads the league. His 12.4 BPM leads the league. And he's basically every stat is higher than his first MVP shooting. And it's crazy to think like the one thing that he's bad at is defense. But at this point, Jokic, you could argue, has mastered, okay, the art of having good hands, positioning himself well, and he's a great kickball violation guy. But what are your thoughts of this 5-way MVP race?
Wrong. Let me tell you this. Steph Curry, 50, 40, 90.
You're coughing because it's wrong.
On 30 points a game.
Who cares?
Steph Curry isn't 50, 40, 90. Is that not what I see on screen right now? It's 50, 40, 90.
Yeah, but
30 points a game.
But how many games has he played? 18. No, not 18.
26.
34. 26. I'm sorry. I couldn't do math.
Okay, so if Luka Doncic, who's like averaging, I guess, slightly better numbers that in points, rebounds, and assists by 2, and he's only 2 games above 500, Steph Curry is worldly better, more valuable in MVP than Luka Doncic. But
just stop eating Steph Curry's dick for once, bro.
It's true. You're witnessing greatness. You're witnessing one of the best point guards ever.
Aaron, who's your MVP? Aaron, right now, I said it's a 5-way race between Jokic, Doncic, Embiid, Antetokounmpo, Tatum, and Durant. Well, that's a 6-man race. Okay, 6-man race. A 6-man race between Durant, Tatum, Antetokounmpo, Embiid, Doncic, and Jokic, with Jokic and Tatum being the front runners, with Durant being the 3rd place. What is your guys' MVP top 6 right now?
Zion is higher.
Top 6. If the 6 guys you had to choose, Durant, Tatum, Antetokounmpo, Embiid, Doncic, and Jokic, how would you rank those 6
If I'm
guys?
doing 6, I'm doing it in this order. I'll go Tatum, Jokic, Giannis.
Wow.
And then I'll go Kevin
Giannis
Durant.
is so dirty, dude. Giannis stuck his hands up Kevin Durant's butthole.
Yeah. I'll go KD and then Joel. And then I think right below them, or even maybe tied with them, are Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. So
I just feel like okay. I also want to pull up this video to show you.
Curry over Doncic, Jamie. Any day of the week.
I'm trying to find this clip. All right, I can't find this. Giannis. You're so annoying.
If Luka's running a heliocentric offense and he's the only player they have who could create on his own, why wasn't James Harden an 8-time MVP? Based on your logic.
But yeah, I'm trying to find. I can't find this clip. I need to find this. You suck. Sorry. I love Curry, but like you love Dick Ryan Curry.
Well, because he's the best point guard I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes in live basketball. So take that as you will. I don't know. Typically, players and teams who win 4 rings in 10 years are good. So I don't know.
I'm trying to see. I wish I could find.
I'd say Domantas Sabonis is shooting 39% from downtown. Oh my goodness!
He's playing through an injury.
What?
And he's
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's playing through an injury.
I know that. It's on my fantasy team. I'm monitoring the situation.
Dude, I wish I could find this clip of Giannis and Kevin Durant. That it was literally like Giannis sticking his hands up Kevin Durant's booty hole.
During our break, we go to Aaron with the news. Yeah, well, the Nets won their 9th straight game last night, taking down the Cleveland Cavaliers as Kevin Durant continues his MVP run. The Los Angeles Clippers got an overtime victory against a team that's not very good that I can't think of at this current point. The Chicago Bulls suffered desperately to the Houston Rockets.
Let's run through last night's games real quickly. Which ones do you want to talk about? You want to talk about? All right, real quickly, I want to say I called the Portland Trailblazers winning.
I think the only one you got wrong was that one right there.
The Jazz. The only one I got wrong was the Jazz. I thought the Jazz would beat the Spurs, but I betted, what was it, 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, 7. I went 6 for 7 last night. I guessed correctly 6 of 7 of the games. First off, TJ Warren is the true story from this Nets game. TJ Warren, he even played a little bit of small ball 5, and he's having like a career year passing, got some steals. TJ Warren could score. And then you had Kyrie Irving being super efficient, Kevin Durant being himself. And I think right now, what is this team? 20 and
it says it right there.
20 and 7. No, they're like 20 and 7.
Oh, and Jacques.
With Jacques Vaughn, they're 20 and 7, I believe, right? They won 2 games. They went 2 and 5 under Steve Nash, and 20 and 7 so far with Jacques Vaughn. Jacques Vaughn from Kansas. But
France.
I think this was a statement win because people don't realize is they shut down Donovan Mitchell and they forced Darius Garland to try to beat them, and Darius Garland couldn't do it. Darius Garland couldn't do it.
He gave it every damn ounce. Wait, can you go down to Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland. Darius Garland had 46 points. You also saw.
Can we click on that player right there, Evan Mobley?
Yeah, what about him? Are you about to say some Evan Mobley slander? You're about to say
I'm waiting for the jump.
It's his second season, bro.
Solid stats. Oh, so Jalen Green last night.
Okay, yeah, Jalen Green's on a terrible team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the difference. But the Nets, I think, are the hottest team in the NBA. I made a video on that last night, and I just think every time we see them play, they are just so fun to watch. They're a powerhouse. They steamroll teams. I think the Brooklyn Nets on the only thing I could see how the Nets, like, I wouldn't do any trades right now, but the only trade that I see the Nets doing is if like they could move Joe Harris for another shooter or something. Like if they hit up if somehow they could convince the Suns for Jay Crowder and Landry Shamet, I would trade Joe Harris. You're telling me you wouldn't trade Joe Harris for Landry Shamet and Jay Crowder, or Jay Crowder and Darius Saric?
No, I'll take Landry. He's doing well right now.
That's all. So I don't think the Suns would trade Landry. So would you do Jay Crowder and Darius Saric for Joe Harris?
No. Jay Crowder's. I think there's a very good reason Jay Crowder's not on an NBA franchise right now, getting minutes.
Well, a bunch of people are complaining. They're like, "You're not good enough to be sitting out, bro."
I think he. I wouldn't go as far to say as he causes internal issues, but I don't think the risk is worth the reward, especially for a team like Brooklyn that was kind of inching towards catastrophe.
Yeah. I'm just a huge Saric fan, and I just felt like Saric.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. But
hey, he just blew out his knee. So let's move on to the next game. I mean, the Clippers almost blew this game, and then at the last 3 minutes, Terrence Mann and Paul George went fucking dynamo. We talked a little bit about the Timberwolves, and I think the most interesting game right here, which game do you want to talk about, though? Did you see me? You look like you want to talk about the Rockets.
Sure.
All right. Let's hear from a Rockets fan. What do you think of this win for your team? First off, before you go, Jabari Smith and Alperen Şengün is a legit front court. Because they're doing what I'm saying. Jabari Smith is the rim protector on defense, and then Şengün is your baby Jokic on your offense.
It's kind of like Jokic and Gordon. I think last night was the best game the Houston Rockets have played. I think that Şengün had his game of the season. I mean, it was magical, actually. Jalen Green had a really good first half, and then it was kind of the Kevin show. I don't know. I still am not bought on Kevin Porter Jr. I still think he's more suited for
Why?
off
I
the
think Kevin
ball.
Porter Jr. has been so consistent that he shows he's either going to be your future perennial six man of the year candidate, or he's going to be develop into the point guard that we hope he can become. Either way, it looks like it's a win-win situation with Kevin Porter.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure Rocket fans understand that we don't want another Harden. We want like an actual point guard. So yeah, Kevin was nice, but what I saw last night in the fourth quarter, which I see every fourth quarter, is Kevin does one of two things. He either goes cold and shoots you out of the game, and then last second with 4 seconds left on the shot clock gives it to Jalen and he's got nothing to do, or he turns on his scoring face and just puts up buckets. But I will give it to him last night. He did a really good job, and he did a good job playmaking. But if those shots weren't falling, I mean, just because you get Jokic, just because you run a pick and roll and get Vucevic switched on you and you run the shot clock down 24 seconds and you make the contested mid-range shot, I don't really constitute as that as a good offensive possession is my point. But I will say, I don't think Silas, I've already ran about the Rocks. They don't know what they're doing. Now they're starting to get into some ball movement, but
So that's
I'm
what
not
this
putting
was
it
the
all
first
on
night. This was the
Kevin.
first night. The reason why they had this dominant win, and Steven Silas even said it, ball movement. Kevin Porter Jr. This is why I'm believing Kevin Porter Jr. He came out in the press conference and he was like, "Tonight we had a good game." He's like, I've been trying to emphasize ball movement in my game. He's like, Steven Silas has been trying to emphasize ball movement. Even Steven Silas, he's like, we've been for the last few weeks, we've been really telling him, move the ball, and just find the open shooter. If you move the ball, the shooter will be found. And that's what they're doing. And that's why, like, when they play like this, they look like a good team, especially when they're running. And guess what? Their last 3 games, Shagun's been averaging 6.5 assists a night. They're running the offense through Shagun finally.
Exactly. That's my point, is you're running the offense through Şengün for the first 3 quarters, which they've been doing so as of late. And then it becomes the Kevin show at the end. And Kevin was making his shots last night, so we won. But the offense in the first 3 quarters is Şengün, Jabari, Jalen, Kevin, it's everybody. And then I feel once the clock hits 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, then it becomes, all right, we're going to do pick and rolls, or we're just going to pass. Nobody's going to cut. Nobody's going to set any off-ball screen. So, yeah, I think they're finally starting to realize that, hey, if we run the offense through Şengün, that's where we're the best. Because Kevin last night, actually, a lot of his scoring came on catch and shoots, which he's phenomenal at. So that's what I want to see more of.
That's
So
why
last night was a great step in the right direction to see if these 3 can actually coexist.
That's why I also believe like Kevin Porter Jr. works out really well, because whatever he ends up being, you got yourself either your future point guard or your future 6-man.
Or they can
trade chip.
Kind of cut him this year. I think they can cut him.
Yeah, he's non-guaranteed.
Right, yeah.
The contract
won't happen, but.
And, I think it's definitely something really interesting to see. And I think this is a team that's been very fun to watch. Now, I think that's it from last night's games. You want to recap?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move over to what's been in the rumor mill for today. And obviously, right now, something we've talked about repeatedly. We'll just gloss over it real quickly.
Clip from today.
Yeah. The rising belief that the Wizards will trade Kyle Kuzma. This comes from Mark Stein of the Stein Line. Kuzma, who has a player option for next year, is considered a lock to become a free agent after the season. Stein adds that rumblings among NBA circles make it difficult to envision Kuzma re-signing with the Wizards. Kuzma is averaging 21.8 points and 7.6 rebounds on the season and having a career year. And basically, it's hard to envision him staying in Washington. Plus, the Washington Wizards are reportedly prioritizing re-signing Kristaps Porzingis over Kuzma, which makes it more likely that Kuzma will stay. And we've talked a bunch about Kuzma, unless you want to talk about that. No. Let's talk about this, though. The Celtics don't plan on removing the interim tag for Joe Mazzulla during the 2022-23 season. The only way that it seems like it would be removed is if Coach Ime Udoka is hired mid-season, and then they would upgrade him. But my thought is the reason they're doing that is so they don't have to give him a new contract. Because if they make him head coach, they have to redo the contract and pay him.
Yeah, that's probably why.
So it's interesting to see. I'm still pushing for Ime Udoka to be hired by the Atlanta Hawks. That would be so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's do something. You know what time it is?
I unfortunately forgot that on Thursday, well, unfortunate for you and the show, I guess, I have a family X throwing on Thursday night.
You're not doing the show?
I'll double check the time, but I highly doubt it.
That's fine because Jay Johnson's coming on, one of our watchers. Nice. So him and I will anchor the show. So let's do today's Pirtle. Wow. Is this Evan Fournier?
No.
6'6", under 30. He's either wearing 12 or 11. And he's in the East. So Central or Southeastern. I think I have my next guess. You go.
Wait, did we get a position?
Yeah, he's guard forward. So he's probably a forward. Or
I think he's a guard.
Okay. Who are you going on this Pirtle?
Actually I'll go Georges Niang.
Georges Niang. He's shorter than 6'6". He's short. I'll give you another guess. We won't do that. Because that doesn't. I'm thinking it's a white guy. I'm going white guy. Fred's a good guess. Fred's got white guy hair, though. Oh, fuck. I forgot. Okay. And he's taller than 6 foot. I had someone. Oh, this was my guess. That was a good guess, right? I didn't know he was 31. I thought he was 11. Okay. So he's in the Central, right? So Central is. No, he's in the Atlantic. Sorry, because it's only it's not. It's Central. So what's the Central? The Bucks, Pacers. Oh, I think I know who it is.
I think he is on the Pacers.
I know.
I'm trying to see that age.
Oh, he's under 23.
Oh, he's over 26.
He's under 20. He's over 26, and his number's under
27.
20. Yeah, so he's 27. So he's 27. I think I know who it is. Do you know who it is? I think he's on.
I think that's. Oh.
I think
I'll let you guess it because I think I know who it is. No. I'm gonna go Grayson Allen.
Oh, I think you're right.
Bang!
That was good. Former Duke player. Dude, Grayson Allen might have been my next guess, but no, dude. Oh, it was because I didn't the height because I thought how tall is TJ 6'3" or is he 6 foot? 6'1". I
was just looking at the age and
I thought he was 6'3" because the hair gave it away. Yeah. The hair gave it away because you can tell it's a white guy. Yeah, white guy hair. But damn, that was a good one. That was a good guess. I did not. I probably would have gotten that one like near the end.
Yeah, it felt good.
It felt good. Let's move back over here. I think we went over here over the rumors. They gave Pascal Siakam last week for Week 10 Player of the Week. He averaged 38.7 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 7.3 assists. And Doncic got, the other one. He went 31.5 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 3 and 1.
Yeah, that 50 burger against the Rockets helped.
Yeah, that 50 burger really did help keep those stats up. Oh my God, the NBA Christmas Day ratings increased despite NFL competition. Yeah. Oh my God. Can we decision to simulcast. The decision to simulcast all 5 NBA Christmas games on ABC paid off in the ratings. Despite facing the first ever Christmas NFL tripleheader, the NBA's 5-game Christmas Day slate averaged 4.27 million viewers across ABC and ESPN per Nielsen. Fast Nationals up 5% from last year's 4.08 million, if still down 4% from 2 years ago when the Christmas Day slate took place in the opening week of the season. 4.47. The Bucks Celtics game was the top draw of the day, with an average of 6 million viewers, up from the 16% from Warriors Suns at the same window. And the second largest NBA regular season audience since the league's return from hiatus. The Celtics win peaked with 6.83 million people watching. That's crazy. And the Mavericks and Lakers scored 4.3, which was 12% down. But still, these are good stats. Don't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting because the Packer-Dolphin game was great. All these games were after that. The 2 other football games were, and you knew it before they happened, that they were just abysmal. I had no interest in
They were shit games. I talked to everyone, and Pat McAfee said it. They were all like, damn, the Sunday games kind of sucked compared to
and I'm glad.
Saturday.
I'm glad. And
I sat on the couch for like 12 hours watching basketball from noon till like 2 a.m. Like
as much crap as I was giving them for having some of the games against like certain matchups, missing games they should have, that it was a great Christmas Day for basketball. And I think even if football was good, people still would have been pleased.
Yeah, no, this was awesome. And you got to think about, like, I watched all the games illegally. I did not pay, like, because I'm pretty sure I didn't even attempt to go on an NBA League Pass because ABC,
they'll have that.
Yeah, they'll have that like blocked. So I was at my dad's house, and my dad cut the cord, and he only has like Hulu, HBO, and like one or two other streaming service. But I taught my dad how to illegally stream, so he has both TVs set up with MacBooks and wireless keyboards and mouse. So you sit on the TV, you go to usgotv.tv, and you can watch any channel you want, like AMC, TV Land, Sundance TV, ABC, Telemundo, Univision, like any channel you want for free. So my dad just put on ABC, and we were just watching all the games for free.
Nice.
Yeah. Check it out. I'll actually show you guys.
Ooh. I don't know if that's a great idea.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was a good catch. That's how the channel gets deleted. Hey, look at this. Scoots back.
Ooh, ESPN Plus. Let's go. Can't wait to not watch it. Nice.
All right. Right here. The Knicks reserve power forward Obi Toppin suffered a non-displaced fracture in his right fibula during the second quarter of the Knicks win over the Hawks at the Madison Square Garden on December 7th. Knicks said the following day that the 24-year-old would be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks, which occurred in recent days. Quote, everything has been good. We've been progressing, getting better, but there isn't a timetable on when I'll be back. We're just taking it day by day, getting better every single day, working on things. They're the pros at this. Whenever they say the time is ready to be back, that's when I'll be back, said Toppin before Tuesday's game against the Mavericks in his first public comments since the injury. What's your thoughts about Obi Toppin coming back? Or is your opinion to Obi Toppin just kind of not turned out to be the player you thought he would be? He's the guy for the second season in a row is averaging 17 points a night. He's shooting the 3-ball the best of his career at 35%, but his field goal percentage is down to 42%, and his points went down to 7.7, but his rebounds went up to 3.8. Same assists as last year and similar defensive numbers. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think I know he was drafted 8, and I know the stats aren't necessarily there, but I do think that's more of the environment. I think he's still a great player, and even if he ends up being just a solid role player, I still view it as that as a success. They could have had Tyrese Halliburton, which sucks. I wonder what the Knicks would look like with that. But that was a pretty weak draft.
It was a surprisingly weak draft. Like, retrospectively, you looked at that school, like, was not great. And
I mean, this could have been, dude. The Bulls had the 4th pick, the Cavs had the 5th pick, Hawks had the 6th, Pistons 7. Like, if this was like the 2021 draft, I mean, that would go hard. Some of these guys got gypped with their picks. Like, it's nothing against Pat Will, Isaac Okoro, Killian Hayes, Advida, but yeah,
let's wrap up this episode. The 2020 draft. Let's pull it up.
it's very top heavy with the top 3, and you could even argue Wiseman's not quite there yet.
Okay, so we'll go through here. Top 12 picks. If we redrafted this draft, it'd probably go Edwards, LaMelo, Tyrese. You would still take James Wiseman? Would you still take James Wiseman? Like, would you?
Probably, yeah.
You would take Wiseman
Devin
at
Vassell
4
as well.
Devin Vassell, yeah.
Would be there.
Devin Vassell would go to the Cavs.
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, so it would go like this. Edwards would still go to the Timberwolves. You're lying if you think that would change. LaMelo would go to the Warriors. Tyrese would go to the Hornets. James Wiseman would go to the Bulls because at the time they didn't pay them. And then next up, let's see who else is on this list. I think Cole Anthony would go up. Josh Green would be in there. Precious Achiuwa, Tyrese. No, we already have Vassell. We had Vassell going 5 to the Cavaliers. So 6, it would probably be Josh Green, right, to the Hawks. 7, it would probably be
that's a weak draft.
Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey's 6. Come on, don't put Josh Green over him.
True. 6, Josh Green goes. I mean, Tyrese Maxey goes to the Hawks. 7, Josh Green goes to the Pistons. 8, Sadiq Bey, or do you go like do you go Emmanuel quickly?
I don't even know.
I'm trying to see anyone in the second round that's turned up. Nick Richards would be a first-round pick. Yeah, Madar still hasn't came over. Fucking beast. Still hasn't
only
came
one player who's made an All-Star game.
Justin Jessup, Golden State still has his rights. Yeah, damn, this was a really shit draft. KJ Martin would be a first-round pick. Isaiah Joe would be a first-round pick. Charles Bassey was in this draft. He would be a drafted. Who else would be drafted out of this? Najee Marshall and Anthony Lamb would have been drafted. Nathan Knight would have been drafted. Matt Ryan probably would have been a second-round pick at least.
Yeah.
Kelly and Tilly and Lindy Waters, maybe. One more year to 7, probably. Lamar Stevens. There's a lot of guys. Ashton Hagans, what happened to that guy? Remember Freddie Gillespie? Trent Forrest would have been drafted.
Freddie Gillespie.
What happened? Where's Tyshawn Alexander? Damn, he's in the G League.
Zach McDonald.
Paul Reed would have been a first-round pick. Same thing with Isaiah Joe. Oh, Jordan Wara would have been a first-round pick. Trey Jones probably would have been a first-round pick. Nick Richards probably would have been a first-round pick. Malachi Flynn probably would have gone higher. He's been solid lately. Payne Pritchard would have gone higher. Weak draft.
Don't get caught in the middle, folks.
Well, Kelly Hayes and Onyeka Okongwu wouldn't have been lottery picks.
Yeah, maybe Onyeka, but definitely not Killian. Killian probably wouldn't even be in the first round.
Killian? Yeah, dude, Malachi Flynn went 29th overall. If Kelly Hayes was at 29, the Raptors would have taken him. Imagine Kelly Hayes on this Raptors team.
Yeah,
that'd be fucking insane.
Oh, not like that at all.
Why?
Well, see, Killian Hayes couldn't hit water in a boat.
Okay, do you want to talk about the Killian Hayes over the last few weeks, though?
I'm a Killian Hayes. My Twitter is a Killian Hayes stan account, so
that's such a lie.
I'm pro Killian Hayes.
So over the last 10 games, Killian Hayes is averaging 12.5 points, 41% from the field. Yes, 29% from 3, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.5 steals.
He's a phenomenal passer. He's a good player.
Killian Hayes could become baby Drew Holiday.
I'd just take Malachi over him on the Raptors still.
I love Malachi Flynn. Can we also talk about Malachi Flynn this season? Like, why aren't they giving him more sets? Like, I could listen to this. They have been over the last 5 games been giving him more minutes, but Malachi Flynn, low key, starting to break out for this team. Let's talk about over the last 6 games. He's averaged 23 minutes, 40% from the field, 44.8% from 3. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, half a steal, 9.5 points a night. And specifically, I think his numbers, let's see his splits as a start. He's only started 1 game this season, but I think we're starting to see Malachi Flynn. It took him a few seasons to get going, but fun player. Don't you agree?
Well, he ended his rookie year when they started the tank. He was averaging like, I think 13 and 7.
Yeah, that's true.
We got that taste of what he could be. He was one of the best defensive guard. He might have been the best defensive guard in that draft. At the time, not necessarily.
Yeah, at the time he was. Yeah. I mean, Anthony Edwards and Lamelo Ball had the tools. Tyrese Halliburton was pretty good, but Kelly Hayes by far probably was the best. Wait, no, Marcus Smart.
Malachi Flynn.
Oh.
In that draft, before they got drafted, he was
Marcus Garrett. He won Defensive Player of the Year that year coming out of college for KU. He was averaging.
So still one of the best.
One of the best, but like Marcus Garrett, like the only reason he wasn't drafted was he can't really shoot. But like since playing in the NBA, he's having a reoccurring like wrist injury. Marcus Garrett though was like the best defensive player in that class, and I'm not even trying to be a biased KU fan. Only thing holding him back from being in the NBA is a 3-point shot, but he's like a 60% field shooter, as like without a jump shot. He just only shoots layups and floaters, and he's a shooting guard. He had him, but then he hurt his wrist back-to-back years. But that's it, guys. You got anything else to say before we talk tomorrow? No? See you guys tomorrow. Hit that like button. It'll be much obliged if you enjoyed today's show. Be a friend and tell a friend. But that's it for us today. We're back tomorrow, guys. Cheers.